So I'm really not a fan of the glue gun, to be honest, but it works really well on straw and wicker. Hello friends, and welcome to another episode of Momo Makes. I'm your girl Momo and I do DIYs, upcycles and sewing projects. Thank you for joining me today. I'm really excited to be here. Today I am making this really cute handbag, and I made these out of 2 Easter baskets. If you head into the stores right now, Easter baskets are everywhere and they're so colorful. They're pink, green, blue, all the shades of pastel, and they're so adorable. So when I headed into my Party City store this weekend, I saw these baskets and I was like, oh, I gotta make a handbag out of these. So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you a very cute handbag that you can make with Easter baskets. So hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, and let's get right into it. Basket bags weren't a thing until the 1950s. At the time, the basket bags were largely found in far-flung beachside destinations, so they became a status symbol for those wealthy enough to travel regularly. Jane Birkin remains the celebrity most associated with the straw basket bag. In the late 1960s and 70s, she carries a basket bag on the streets of Paris and onto the pages of fashion magazines, and since then the basket bag has become a fashion staple. For this DIY straw basket bag, my inspiration comes from the colorful basket bags seen on the spring-summer runway collections over the past few years. Yeah, everybody has done it and they're fabulous. I love the tall shape and green color of this Loewe basket and the sprinkling of gems on the other. I love the general aesthetic of these Dolce & Gabbana bags, and I will try to incorporate some of these funky elements into my design. I'm inspired by the contrasting colors on these ethnic baskets, and of course pom-poms. Man, I love pom-poms. How can I even think about making something without pom-poms and gems? And finally, I'll sprinkle in some Instagrammability by adding a beaded handle. I found my baskets for this project at Party City. They were super cheap and I love the colors. They're so pretty. Party City has so many cute decorations for Easter. Just look at this bunny balloon. Isn't it cute? It's adorable and I want one. Okay, starting out with the baskets, you will need 2 baskets of any size, lining fabric twice the size and height and circumference of the baskets, bias tape in a matching color, wood beads for the handle, assorted gems for embellishment, and pom-pom trim in a coordinating color, which I will attach to the bias tape. First of all, let's get rid of these extra long handles and trim them down so you can work on the baskets without them getting in your way. To make the opening on the top of the bag, cut out the straw on the bottom of one of the baskets. You can use wire cutters or scissors. Just be careful not to cut your hand. Once you're done, push down the straw, forming a rim. Press down firmly with your hand and hold the individual straw pieces with glue. You can clip the straws in place until the glue is dried completely. Use the wire cutters to trim your handle pieces down even further to about an inch or so. We will be joining the 2 baskets and we will use these 1-inch handle pieces to hold the top and bottom securely. So what you will do is you will push the handle stubs into the weave of the basket. One by one, you have 4 pieces in total, and glue them in place. Use plenty of glue and hold the baskets until the glue is set. Next, cut up a length of fabric or use your bias tape to weave in and out of the joint baskets to secure the middle joint even further. I'm using a fabric scrap here because I didn't have a lot of bias tape. Use something blunt but pointy to push the fabric through the gaps between the weave, but be careful not to damage the straw. Go all the way around the basket and secure the loose end with a knot and tack the fabric down with the glue. The lining for this kind of a bag will look like a bucket, round at the bottom and cylindrical in shape. We will make a channel at the top to hold the drawstring and add a cinch closure at the top. To make the lining, measure how tall your bag is, measure around it for the circumference, and add some extra length to accommodate for the exposed lining piece at the top of the bag and gathers at the top of the bag. Confusing? Just watch and I'll show you in a second. Measure the bottom circumference and cut out a round piece. Then close the long side of the top piece first to make a cylinder shape. Next, we will construct the cylinder. We will pin the cylinder to the bottom circle piece to make the bucket insert. Now watch closely. I'm turning the lining outside in, which means that the good side of the fabric will be inside of the bag. So when you put your hand inside, you see the beautiful lining. I left excess fabric at the top. What I will do is I will fold it down on the outside so that some of the good side of the fabric also shows on the outside on the rim. And within that fold, we will create the drawstring channel and we'll put the drawstring and cinch it in the middle. To make the opening for the drawstring, pin and fold down the top rim piece in place. Now we're going to go around and sew a channel for the drawstring and then stitch the rim in place. Here's a trick to always sewing straight lines. I think this is one of the questions that the beginner sewers are always confused about. How do you sew straight lines? See these markings on the base plate? These are guides to measure seam allowance. If your machine doesn't have it, you can put masking tape and just line up the fabric edge with this mark. See how beautiful and straight these lines turned out? That's the trick. Next, we're going to cover the middle joint because you can see the ugly fabric weaving through the basket. So we're going to cover it with bias tape. For this, I'm going to attach my pom-pom trim to the bias tape and then just glue it on top of the trim to cover the fabric weave. Once it's covered, you won't be able to tell that you made this bag out of 2 baskets. Now let's finish the rim. For this, take about 2.5 3-inch fabric strip and finish the edge on one side. This will be on the outside and we're going to glue this to the top edge completely. Just be sure to apply the hem in a straight line for a neat finish. Again, you can use a masking tape as a guide if you need. Once you're done with that, turn your fabric inside the bag and start gluing around on the inside. Be sure to lightly stretch the fabric so it looks very neat. Now to attach the lining to the bag, apply a big blob of glue to the bottom on the inside of the bag. Push your lining firmly until it is secured and the glue is dry. Add a couple of lines of glue on the insides of the bag and push the linings to it so that the lining is attached to the side of the bag. To make the drawstring, fold your bias tape down in the middle and sew over it. Once it's ready, string it through the channel. I'm using a braid wire tie for this because it's tiny and it's sturdy enough. To make the cord to be able to cinch up, I'm going to add 2 wooden beads on both sides. Or you could use cord stays, but I didn't have cord stays, so I'm just using a wood bead for this. But just make sure that if you're using the bead, the hole is small enough so that the cord is really tight inside the bead. Now I want this drawstring to stay in the bag and not be able to pull out. So what I'm going to do is add permanent fabric tassels to it. For this, I'm going to cut out a rectangle of fabric and I'm going to close 2 edges together and make a cylinder shape. Then to add gathers to the top, I'm using thread and needle. And before I pull the thread, I'm going to pull the drawstring end through it and then stitch it in place wrong sides together. Then just turn your tassel out and put some feather trim up there for a cute accent. And this is going to give you a very cute tassel, which is going to be a fabric covering on the outside and some feathers sticking out from the inside. And this would make sure that your bead doesn't come off. Next, I'm going to add some beautiful sparkly embellishments to my bag, just like the Loewe basket bag. I'm using a glue gun for this. I'm really not a fan of the glue gun, to be honest, but it works really well on straw and wicker. So if you have watched any of my other videos, adding gems to my projects is my favorite part of any sewing project. I find it so therapeutic and I love the effect. Okay, so the back is almost complete, guys. One last step, the beaded handle. For this, I'm using the same bias tape. Fold it down the middle, stitch over it, make a string. Next, make a tiny hole in the rim fabric and push the handle through the tape. Join the ends with a long piece and stitch it in place real good. Next, sort your beads by color or figure out the order in which you want to string them onto the handle. You can do one color or mixed colors, neutral colors if you like, or you can do alternating color and neutral color, whatever you like. Again, I used my trusty wire tie to pull those strings through the beads until my handle was long enough for my liking. Once you reach the other side, make a tiny cut and push your handle string through it and secure it in place just like we did earlier. And your bag is now complete. It looks so fabulous. You can't tell this bag was made out of $2 baskets. Isn't it amazing? I love it. So did you like it? It turned out so cute. I'm so excited. It's so adorable. If you choose to make this project, please tag me on Instagram. My hashtag is MomoMakes. I would love to see how you made it. If you don't yet subscribe to my channel, now is a good time to hit that subscribe button. I post videos every week and I look forward to seeing you make all these adorable projects with me. Again, thank you for watching and I'll see you guys next time.
'Cause when you're with me, baby, don't you see that I'm shining?